feel like being a parent's, synonymous with that. You're delaying a lot of gratification because you know that you're sacrificing to build a well-rounded human being. And sometimes it would just be easier.
They say that in the Barbie movie. Speaking of favorite quotes.
Oh, really? I haven't seen it, to be fair.
There's a really great quote where she says, a mother stands still so that their daughters can turn around and see where they've ended up.
It would be so much easier to just give your kids everything they wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Like, every time they wanted to do something, it would be easier to just be like, okay.
Teaching them delayed gratification.
Yeah, well, that's what you have to do. And although it would be easier to just be like, yeah, okay, you can have it. Yeah, okay, you can have it. But it would, in the long run, it would be worse for you.
Yeah. And also, I think you're right.
Which actually leads me on to my second, one of my second of our quotes, which is, you have to be willing to sacrifice what you want now for what you want most. And that was, one of my favorite quotes when I was personal training, because I could relay that to clients. Like, what you want now is to not work hard and eat crap. But what you want most is to be a healthy individual who is able to, play with their grandkids when they're older because they've been in good physical condition, continue to work hard because you've put yourself in the position to do so. What you want now might be to go out and party and just experience your youth or whatever. But what you want most is to build something which is going to have a major impact. And you just need to be able to sacrifice what it is that you want in the moment for what it is that matters to you. And the majority of people who don't achieve what they want to achieve is because, they didn't get the results that they wanted, or because they didn't put in the work. And, it's hard to explain to people that you have to think about the future constantly while you're in the present if you want to kind of achieve that. And I guess that's why that would probably be contradictory to a lot of like yoga teachings, because obviously it's about like being in the present. So I think that would probably be a good balance for people who are wanting to do something like that. Because I live in the future, I definitely live in the future. It's probably my biggest problem is that I just live in the future.
So I think what you find in a yoga class or off the yoga mat, and when you do have goals, it's setting these challenges. And when your mind goes into challenge mode, it goes into a bit of chaos mode. And that's where sort of the monkey brain starts acting up and you start hearing everything. And there's chaos in the world, there's chaos in the mind, there's no clarity. Whereas when you practice yoga, you get the ability to come back to the present moment. So what I always tell people in my classes is it's not about always being there. That's not really modern reality, always existing in this rest and digest state, always existing with the breath and 10-second inhales, 20-second exhales. But what you do get is the tools to bring yourself back there anytime you need it. You can pause, you take what you learned on the mat, you take the moment to rest, to breathe, and you create clarity up here. And then those future goals that you set, they kind of line themselves up, or that you create a sense of stability for yourself to be able to chase them. So you've always got what you need to come back to within yourself, and you get that from your practice.
No, I think a lot of people could do with that. I think a lot of people could do with having that tool at their disposal, because it is difficult if you don't have that and you're constantly in this kind of stress cycle of just chasing, and because it never ends, does it? There's always another month. There's always another end of the month. There's always another target, goal. Yeah, I think it's there's no surprise that meditation and things have come to the forefront in a lot of business people. A lot of business people are now talking about that, about ice baths, which is kind of a form of meditation, about having these kind of rituals and routines. So I think there's a lot of things that people could learn from yoga and from having just doing something that gives you space and also like the permission to just think about yourself.
Yeah.
for a bit.
Fill yourself up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think also in this like go get 'em culture, call it, where you're just sort of pushed to go and get the next goal. Like you were talking about, not taking a second to enjoy what you've created or enjoy the moment. Where with yoga, you are encouraged to stop, to
Yeah.
pause. And I just think everyone's sort of trained to think rest is bad. And we sort of made rest this big taboo. Oh, what do you mean you're not doing anything? Like we always think there needs to be something on the schedule.
Yeah.
Whereas I think we need to sort of flip that script. And I do think there's space in yoga that helps that, where you're constantly encouraged to stop, to breathe.
Yeah.
And I like to always tell people rest or breath or pause, whatever you want to call it, it's not something you need to earn. It's just something you need, full stop.
I think yoga, like the classes are a bit of a hack though for someone who's busy, because if something's in your schedule, you'll commit to it. If it becomes kind of anything that you say you'll do when you've got free time doesn't get done as an adult, realistically.
Yes.
If you're a busy adult, that's something that you just need to get out of your head. Oh, I'll do when I've got time isn't a thing. You've got to make time. So having like somewhere where you can go, kind of like me with training, I don't have to have, it's ingrained in me, in my routine that I do the gym. So motivation doesn't get me there. Discipline and routine gets me there. It's this time I'm going there. Yeah, habit. And a lot of people, they don't have any grounding as a habit. They don't have that kind of stop and, be in the moment. That's not habitualized for them at all. It's not part of our culture. It's not ingrained in us. It's just, they see themselves as being unproductive if that's happening. So putting it in your schedule and being like, I'm at Hotpod at 7:00. It fits in with your Western routine, but it's forcing rest.
Yeah.
Which is
forcing that moment for you.
Yeah, but it's and for a lot of people, ideally, we'd love to get to a stage where someone can just feel at peace and sit down and have 15 minutes where they're just with their thoughts and because they would be very good for them. But because we don't have that culturally, I think outsourcing it to yoga until you can learn to make that part of your routine is a really good hack for people if they're watching.
Absolutely. And I do think once you start practicing it, if you're doing a daily class or a weekly class, I think you eventually do learn to trust yourself to do it outside.
So you can see the results.
Yeah.
You can see the results of it. Like people don't realize the results of being physically active and how it impacts the rest of your life until you do it. You think that it's just going to the gym and getting stronger and looking better, whereas it's not that. There's so much more to it. You learn how to implement discipline. You have more energy. You feel better about yourself. But you'll only ever realize that if you start doing it.
And I don't think people realize how much movement helps you move stress from the body. So
100%.
The energy moves through.
100%.